Last night, under the cover of the GOP debate, we had a bipartisan budget deal. Now, it's going to, of course, go to Obama. There's going to be some debate in both chambers about it, but it's pretty interesting. The Democrats got a little bit. The Republicans got a little bit. Paul Ryan seems very excited with himself, which you're going to see in this clip.
This week, we have completed 2 bipartisan agreements that advance Republican priorities. First, we are lifting the government's 40-year-old ban on crude oil exports. This is a big win for American jobs and for our energy industry. It's a big win for our manufacturers and for our foreign policy. We are increasing military spending. We are tightening security requirements under the nation's visa waiver program. We are freezing most IRS operations and stopping the IRS from suppressing civic participation in 501c4 organizations. We are maintaining all of our pro-life protections, including the Hyde Amendments, and we are making cuts to the UNFPA program. In addition to all of that, we are ending Washington's days of extending tax policies 1 year at a time. I cannot tell you how many times I have visited with small businesses and farmers who tell me, give me some certainty in the tax code and I can go create jobs.
Okay. I love the certainty, the confidence. Yeah. I desperately need help. I could sell so much more, but like 3 years from now, where will the taxes be?
Yeah, so nonsense phrases like certainty. So I'm a business owner. Young Turks is an LLC. We employ about 60 people. Okay, I've never once had a conversation in a management meeting team where we're like, we have so much uncertainty. We don't know what the taxes are going to be 2 years from now. Maybe we should stop doing business.
Yeah.
Let's stop doing videos because I'm so uncertain what a minuscule change in the tax rate is going to be a couple of years from now.
Yeah.
Nonsense. All of this, and then hashtag confident America. Because America can only be confident if the rich get further tax cuts.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm feeling so insecure. Where are my tax cuts?
I don't want to be richer.
Right. So understand what they just did here. That was actually, he almost couldn't hide it. So he explained all the giveaways that they got for their side, the Republican side. Almost none of it was for Republican voters.
Yeah.
He said, we're protecting the energy industry. That's true. He said, we're protecting manufacturers, in other words, giant corporations. That's true. He said, for people who'd like to do their civic duty, we made sure the IRS won't investigate the 501c4s. Civic duty. 501c4s are things that are disguised as general welfare programs, but in fact do massive billions of dollars in giveaways to politicians. Yeah. So those are the rich that buy the politicians. That was their top priority, so the money would keep flowing and the IRS wouldn't investigate to see if they were actually social welfare programs or actually political bribery programs. Yeah. Number one priority, still nothing to the voters. And finally, he said, we made sure, of course, that our taxes have more certainty. Another giveaway to the rich and to the corporations. That's who the Republicans represent. Get it through your head. Yeah. They don't represent you at all. They just came out and bragged in a press conference about how they got goodies for their rich friends, giant corporations, and the people they actually represent, the people that are bribing them.
Yeah. Well, what about the millions of regular, everyday farmers who own corporations that sell medical equipment?
Small farmers.
What about those?
Yeah, good luck trying to find a small farmer. They're giant farming corporations now.
Yeah. He can definitely sell that I Visit Farms line better now that he has his big boy beard, though. But yeah, there was a lot to love in that. So he's talking. We're gonna get to the gas exporting. Obviously, we raised military spending. Give me 5 words about why we needed to. Nobody knows.
ISIS, we need to bomb them more. But wait, we already dropped 9,000 bombs on them. Yeah. We need 10,000. 10,000. Slash the defense contractor in all of our districts gives us a ton of campaign donations.
Yeah, and also we've been criticized for extending the taxes a year at a time. Like, no, the regular, I don't even agree with them really, but the regular conservative voters are probably a little bit concerned, or at least they say they're concerned about the deficit and long-term the national debt. And when you extend these year by year, you're hurting the national debt. You're expanding the national debt. So all you're doing now is, from now on, for a really long time, and we're going to go into how much some of these changes are going to add to the national debt, but there's a ton of, one of my favorite lines in that, by the way, was so they had to strip a bunch of the riders out, which is a good thing. Their riders were absolutely dreadful. He talked about the IRS thing. From what I've read, the rider that they wanted to stop the IRS from investigating these groups was actually stripped out, and yet he's declaring victory. He said so they wanted something to destroy Planned Parenthood. It got stripped out. So he said we've maintained our anti-abortion legislation, like the Hyde Amendment. Who was trying to get rid of the Hyde Amendment?
Nobody.
You maintain stuff that nobody was trying to get rid of.
The Hyde Amendment has been around for decades, and what it says is that federal money cannot go towards abortion. Right?
And nobody was going to kill that.
And that's not under challenge, etc. Now, look, that's good news because that means they lost on that issue.
Yeah.
And he's trying to cover it up because all the conservative talk show hosts are about to yell at him.
Yes.
Okay, why didn't you make abortion illegal? Because I'm not the Supreme Court. I don't have the power to do that. I don't care. I want your victory anyway.
And there's a lot here that I think a lot of the conservatives, especially the radio hosts, like Limbaugh's not going to like any bit of this. One, that there was almost no open discussion about some of these last-minute changes to the deal before they announced it. They announced it during a debate to lower the chances that anyone would be paying attention during it, and they knew that would then overwhelm the news coverage. Like most places, they're not going to start with budget deal talk. They're going to be talking about Trump's latest rally or whatever. They added at least $700 billion to the national debt just in this deal for the next year. And we're looking at the potential making permanent of some tax cuts that could add trillions and trillions of dollars over the next decade. We're going to talk about a few of them. So there were a number of taxes, some of them good, some of them bad, tax cuts I should say, that they made either permanent or delayed the elimination of. And I always love when they put these sunset provisions in, that it's going to last a year or two. They never go away. They never go away.
Somehow the sun never sets on the Republican empire.
Exactly, yeah. Once you get that tax cut, you're going to have it forever. But so 3 of the major Obamacare taxes that they have either delayed the implementation of or have eliminated them is the medical device tax, which I joked about earlier, which is something like a 2.3% sales tax on the selling of medical devices. The Cadillac tax, which is a 40% tax
on Cadillacs. No.
On Cadillacs, which seems unfair. Seems really unfair. No, on particularly expensive health plans. So if for an individual your health plan costs more than something like $10,400 a year, anything above that there's a 40% tax on. They've postponed that. And there's an insurer tax as well. Now, they don't like any of those things. A lot of Democrats don't like those taxes that were going to be there. But it's not inconsequential that you eliminate it. So if we could jump ahead to graphic 3, you're going to see a chart here of the repeal of health taxes costing $1.1 trillion over 20 years. So you're seeing there what a 2-year delay will cost. Just 2 years is going to cost us $40 billion. And keep that number in mind when we were talking about how we desperately needed to cut food stamps by $10 billion less than a year ago. If they repeal it permanently, we're talking about over $1 trillion lost from just not having those taxes. And they've been criticizing Obamacare for years now as being too expensive, when in fact, Obamacare is slated to actually save us something like $3.5 trillion over a certain time span. They've just eliminated potentially a third of that. Casually, no discussion.
Now, why would you get rid of taxes on the most expensive health care plans? In order to protect the people who would get the most expensive health care plans. And who would that be? The very rich.
Yes.
Now, look, here's the thing. I wish that we could have health care that was more affordable for everybody, including the rich. Yeah. I desperately want that. That's not the system we live in. Now, when they say we don't have money, though, as John pointed out, whether it's food stamps, education, anything, that is not remotely true. We make choices in these bills every single year. So the choice we made here is, no, I don't really want more food stamps. I really don't want more education for your kids. So when Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton say, hey, maybe we should do free education if you make it into a state college, they go, nah, we don't have the money for that. Why? Because they have to save the money for the very rich to get the very best health care without paying more taxes.
Yeah.
So, look, I want them to get the best health care. But the reason it's called the Cadillac plan is because they can actually afford it.
Yeah.
And then that winds up getting more money for our budget, which then leads to hopefully more opportunity for more Americans. And the Republicans just killed that and said, no, we'd rather protect the rich.
Yeah.
Which is Republican 101. They do press conferences to brag about that.
Yeah.
They're not hiding it. They're saying, yay, we're for the rich.